Oh, does anyone remember Tumblr? I'm just kidding. I've always been here. I started posting in May 2010 when I was a teenager. Chapter 1 of 2, First Contact with the Tribes People. I had a Y2K childhood, and I was 15 when the emo and scene trends were at their peak. And yes, it was as magical as they say. Blog and social media websites used to let us customize a lot of our HTML and CSS, and it was glorious. The internet used to be so much fun back then. Just look at these palettes and glitter graphics. Okay, so there I was, emo makeup on my face. It's the start of 2010, and I found the Karl Lagerfeld parody blog. His URL was fakekarl.blogspot.com. Its name was Karl Lagerfeld's Guide to Life. Let's get to Champagne Land Darlings. The timeline: most posts occurred in 2008 and 9. The subject: roasting his infamous frenemy Anna Wintour. He tried to make the mode happen. He dished out harsh criticism and satire about fashion and celebrities at the time, mocking famous figures in fashion, film, and pop culture. There was a lot of self aggrandizement, over the top self praise, and exaggerated ego. He even made some rudimentary comics imitating the dinosaur comics, if anyone remembers those. This one says, "Today is Chanel Day. Coco, why are you having a bath? I see you have a chain on your bag." She is lying on a runway. I am most certainly not a polar bear. I bet I is hiding in the fifth frame. There are no authors at Valentino. It looks like a Frenchman's here. Today I purchased a pair of shoes. I am a veritable C. I am Herman Melville? I wish you'd show affection. Again, I don't think anyone is able to explain what is happening here. There were some offensive posts. Of course, he's not shying away from fat phobia, classic Carl. He had some random rants, absurd opinions about everything from art to modern technology, aka, you guessed it, Tumblr. On December 6, 2009, he mentioned Tumblr for the first time and he said, "David writes, somebody please tell him to check lookbook.nu every once in a while before adding in his Tumblr address at the end, because everyone wants to check out his Tumblr." I'm sure this is nothing against you, David. I just think this Tumblr is incredibly disgusting and filthy. People should read a book instead. I just finished Never Let Me Go, recommended to me by the most wonderful person in the world, apart from me, myself, and I. Then on December 10th, he wrote, you mean that the reader of your magazine isn't stupid? Whatever next. Maybe if you started taking this viewpoint, people would start reading and writing in magazines again, especially fashion magazines, and not simply skip the pictures of the pretty models, parentheses, to post them on their Tumblr. On January 12th, 2010, he wrote, probably something faux deep, I always knew it would come to this, and so on. And when taken out of context, said teenage girls feel very intellectual and self-satisfied with themselves, and proceed to post 10 million pictures of kittens and cupcakes and naked girls with the occasional Woody Allen quote. I can't fault that. "Tumblr," said my butler. "What?" "Nothing," he said. On May 19th, 2011, he mentioned it for the last time in a post titled, "And while none of you were paying attention, loyal readers, by now you will think that I have grown bored of this blog thing, that I have perhaps obtained a Tumblr where I post pictures of macaroons with my portrait on them, or that I have decided to leave the world of the worldwide interweb entirely and sculpt men I find beautiful and desirable out of materials such as chocolate or coffee." What is a coffee sculpture? Chapter 2 of 2. Where are they now? Carl passed away in 2019 at the American Hospital of Paris because of prostate cancer. Here we can see how grand his memorial was. The person writing this blog, in less than 24 hours, they wrote a conclusion post where they expressed reverence and shared how the process of writing all of those posts was for them. I found it interesting that they said Carl stored his music on iPods like external hard drives and he had 300 of them. Fast forward to now, in April of 2025, people were speculating that Tumblr is closing, for realsies this time. This user said, Matt, the CEO, just fired half the remaining Tumblr support staff, LMAO. I'm hearing this round of firings was focused on purging the senior staff and not just from support, but from the entire remaining Tumblr workforce. I'm hearing there are about 25 people left. That is crazy. These people are saying, folks, back up your tumblers for real this time. To be clear, I don't have any news about any impending doom, but I've heard a bit more about what's going on with staff after the layoff of last week, and there were even less people than I thought still working there. I don't think even the current staff know what's going to happen, but honestly, I don't see how the high ups could even pretend to intend to keep this place open while virtually unstaffed. For reference, OP is a former employee of Tumblr who tries to keep up to date with Tumblr's inner workings. Please back your blogs up. Let's investigate Glassdoor for more gory details. Right off the bat, we can see the most popular cons saying lost direction and has confused leadership in 4 of the reviews, abysmally horrible management in 3 of them. Okay, let's sort by lowest first. This person is saying bizarre dystopian corporate culture in which Oath plays advertisements to its own employees on mounted TVs everywhere around the office. Yes, that is dystopian. Huge focus on driving ad sales and not much on user needs/wants. Last effort to please advertisers by removing NSFW content from the platform totally self-destructed its user base. Yes, we know, everyone knows this. This person is saying there is a complete lack of engineering best practices. Their code base is so fragmented, fragile, tangled, and highly unreadable. Minor changes to the code cannot be made without risking the entire site going down. They don't use continuous integration to test against anything and do not have the technical capital to even being writing tests. What? A tech company needing QA? Nah, the users can do the QA themselves. It's shocking beyond belief. This isn't a place to grow as an engineer and soak up knowledge. Very non technical engineering managers who are not capable or willing to mentor subordinates. You get a really strange vibe from everyone in the office. People talk badly about others behind their backs and sometimes within earshot. That's so awkward. Lots of inter-office romantic relationships. Oh, so if you're within the New York area, you can just go get hired at Tumblr. Find yourself a nice sweetie in there. It's a rotating door. Nobody really stays for more than 1 to 2 years. Many people, including directors, have left the company even before their stock reached its 1 year vesting cliff. I'm assuming this is when you can actually use your stock or take it out. This kills morale when nobody likes the company enough to stay. Morale is terrible after the acquisition. People talk poorly about Yahoo and make fun of how old and outdated Yahoo is as a company, yet Tumblr itself is old and outdated. The traffic to the website has plummeted on a monthly basis. A very small percentage of the early employees have stayed, and those who have keep talking down upon the newer employees. They've built tons of custom in-house services which constantly break because they were so poorly written, which makes being on call an absolute nightmare. Top it off with a few rats run around in the Manhattan HQ. I don't know who you 25 employees that still remain there are, but please stay safe. This person is saying, worst employment experience ever. No leadership, communication, onboarding, collaboration, team, meetings, stand-ups, scopes, deadlines, vision, assignment, absent manager. You are left on your own from day one with no scopes. After months of employment, still nothing to materialize your job title. You may be proactive and try different communication channels. Your manager and your senior manager, CEO will play radio silent. They advise the CEO to hire leaders with vision, communication, and expertise. When an employee messages you, their senior manager, to report the above issues, please dare to do your job. This person is saying Tumblr is run on a tangled mess of homegrown tools, horrendously fragile code, and the worst engineering practices I've ever seen from any company. There is no QA, code reviews aren't taken seriously, anyone can commit to master and push their code to production at any time. The entire development process can be described as institutionalized cowboy coding. This is an older term we're familiar with in Tumblr, but I'm seeing they're adding a new one here called programming is a real and Tumblr exemplifies it. It was the norm for bros to knowingly push buggy, incomplete, untested code into production after a few rounds of drinks, then leave the problems for others while they moved on to another project. So they're drinking at the office, they're hooking up, there are rats there, no QA. What the hell is happening? In conclusion, Tumblr is moving to just a skeleton crew, maintaining the current platform with no future plans of updating anything. I'm going to be honest here, I don't think that's really a bad thing. Everyone hates updates, especially Tumblr users, and we all know how those go down. I'm genuinely happy we got to this point where we no longer have to worry about them. Of course, everyone using it should go into their settings and download their blogs locally for safekeeping. It's easy to start your blog expert, just 3 clicks. Start with your settings on the left, select your blog name on the right, then scroll all the way down until you get to the penultimate section. It's called export and you have to press the blue button. They will process it for you. Mine took about 3 days. Then you get an email announcing that you can download your backup. It comes as a zip file, but only the photos and GIFs were salvageable. There are some files supposed to contain text posts, but they don't work for me. And the videos and songs aren't even there. With that said, let's never forget the iconic inspirational quote from Confucius: "It does not matter how slow you go, so long as you do not stop."